Imagine you are the world's most dedicated chimp handler. You have an unlimited budget, access to the most advanced cold weather gear on the planet, and one very confused chimpanzee. The question on the table is completely serious. Could you keep that chimp alive in Antarctica? Not comfortable, alive. Because here's the thing. When you actually run the numbers, the answer is not the instant absolutely not you'd expect. It starts as a genuine maybe, and then, one by one, the real killers show up. Let's start with the case for it, because it is surprisingly strong. A chimpanzee's thermal neutral zone, the range where their body doesn't have to work to stay warm, sits between about 17 and 29 degrees Celsius. That's not far off a brisk autumn day in the Scottish Highlands. They're not penguins, but they're not as fragile as you might think. Now dress that chimp in the absolute best insulated suit money can buy. Think the kind of layered, expedition-grade gear that human polar researchers wear. Moisture-wicking base layer, sealed mid-layer, wind-stopping outer shell, insulated boots, gloves, a full balaclava. Suddenly you have a primate-shaped thermos flask. A wild male chimpanzee at normal activity levels burns roughly 1,900 calories a day. Surviving in the cold demands far more. Your body is essentially a furnace, and extreme cold cranks that furnace to maximum. But chimps are omnivores. They are primarily fruit eaters, but genuinely omnivorous, meaning their diet shifts with availability. Load them up on calorie-dense food, nuts, fats, meat, and their metabolism has fuel to fight the cold. On paper, the energy math is solvable. And here's the adaptability argument. Chimpanzees actively use environmental gradients for thermoregulation, moving between ground and canopy according to their thermal needs, and have even been observed using caves as thermal refugia. These animals are problem solvers. They read their environment, they adapt behavior. That is not nothing. So we have insulation, fuel, and a behaviorally flexible primate. We are, improbably, building a case. But now, here comes the first killer. Antarctica is not just cold. At Vostok Station, the temperature dropped to a record-breaking low of negative 89.2 degrees Celsius, negative 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That is not weather. That is another planet. And the suit, brilliant as it is, cannot cover everything. The chimp has to breathe. Cold, dry air entering the lungs causes severe irritation, triggering bronchospasm, an airway tightening response that produces chest tightness, burning, and shortness of breath. Even at manageable cold temperatures, every breath is a fight. At negative 89 degrees, it becomes a crisis. Even trained humans moving fast through Antarctic air at extreme temperatures must be careful not to inhale so much cold air that they freeze their airway and lungs. The chimp has no balaclava it will tolerate. It has no breathing tube it will cooperate with. Every breath is an unfiltered blast of polar air directly into tissue that evolved in equatorial rainforests. The lungs are losing before the first minute is up. Would you survive Antarctica if you had to breathe through your nose the whole time? Let me know in the comments below. Now, here's where it gets even worse. Antarctica is not just the coldest, it is also the windiest continent on Earth. Its katabatic winds can reach a staggering 200 miles per hour. Wind chill multiplies the effective cold by a terrifying factor. At negative 60 degrees Celsius with a strong wind, exposed skin freezes in seconds. The suit covers most of the body, but a chimpanzee is not a cooperative patient. They touch things, they pull at gear, they scratch. Free-living chimpanzees naturally experience mean daytime temperatures of between 24 and nearly 30 degrees Celsius. The moment any seam gaps, any glove shifts, any inch of skin hits that air, frostbite claims it instantly. But the third killer is the one that haunts you. The unnatural environment of captivity, characterized by social isolation, limited space, and lack of stimulating activity, can significantly impact a chimpanzee's mental well-being. Wild chimpanzees live in complex social structures, engage in foraging and hunting behaviors, and roam vast territories. When these essential needs go unmet, chimpanzees can develop a variety of mental disorders. Now put that animal alone on a featureless white continent with no troop, no trees, no foraging, no grooming, no play, no social contact. Research has directly linked chimpanzee psychopathology to conditions of confinement, physical harm, and isolation. Chimpanzees can exhibit symptoms of depression including lethargy, loss of appetite, social withdrawal, and decreased playfulness. A depressed chimp stops eating. A chimp that stops eating in Antarctica is a chimp that dies in Antarctica. The psychological collapse comes before the physiology even gets a chance to fail on its own. The stress of maintaining body temperature alone is a tremendous physiological burden on chimpanzees. And that's in the savanna, not Antarctica. Stack the respiratory assault, the frostbite risk, the crushing isolation, and the psychological unraveling on top of each other, and the suit becomes almost irrelevant. You didn't lose because of the cold. You lost because you sent a deeply social, tropical, emotionally complex animal into the most hostile and empty place on Earth and expected the gear to carry all of it. The chimp was never close and impossibly far at the same time. It was both, in that order. Close enough that the question deserved a real answer. Far enough that the real answer is devastating. If you want more videos that take ridiculous questions completely seriously and then destroy them with actual science, subscribe, because that is exactly what we do here, and we are just getting started.